When I moved out of my parents' house to my own apartment, I had to get rid of many unnecessary things. Craigslist always seemed suspicious to me, so I decided to list my items on Facebook Marketplace. Among them were old childhood toys, book sets, and much more. The most valuable item was a workout set with a barbell, weight rack, and several plates, priced at $340. To my surprise, there weren't many interested buyers. People would sometimes inquire if the offer was still valid, but then they would stop responding. It wasn't until a few days later that Joe showed interest. His profile picture was blurry, a guy with a fishing hat holding a fish. The profile was private, with no information about the number of friends, but it had 3 mutual friends, all girls from my town. Joe's last name was also the same as the guy who used to date a girl I was somewhat familiar with. Without hesitation, I assumed it was the same person, especially since I knew this guy liked fishing. After confirming the availability of the item, Joe asked, "When can I pick it up?" I suggested I was available every evening after 7 p.m., and he replied that he could come today after work, around 11 p.m. Although it seemed quite late, I agreed. I decided to be a bit friendly and asked, "Hey, you used to date Gina, right?" After a moment, a typing indicator appeared, but then disappeared, and he didn't respond for several minutes. Finally, he wrote, "Yes." It puzzled me a bit, this strange delay, but I assumed he might have various reasons. Maybe he found it weird that I mentioned it, so I wrote, "I knew I recognized your name, haha." He read the message, but for half an hour he didn't reply. Then I got a response. "Yeah, haha. Can you send me your address and I'll let you know when I'll come?" I sent him my address. He read it, but he didn't respond for many hours. When I returned from work around 6 p.m., I noticed Joe finally replied, asking for my phone number. I gave it to him, and shortly after, I received an SMS from a number with our area code. I have an iPhone, and when I replied, the text color was green. Sometimes I consider it a risk sign, but I ignored it because, after all, I knew this guy. He said he would be in a few hours, so I continued with my tasks. Around 11 p.m., I received an SMS. "I'm here, come out." I looked through the window and saw a dark car on the street. I tried calling him to say I needed help with the weights, but he declined my call and wrote, "Karotin, yo, come out." I replied, "I see you. You can come in, I just need help with the weights, there are quite a few." He responded, "First, you need to come out." I had to think for a moment about what that meant. I only knew that this white fishing guy shouldn't be texting like this. I tried calling again, but he rejected it once more and wrote, "I need to make sure you're okay." I began to have suspicions. I decided to send a message to Gina and our mutual friends with Joe on Facebook. The first to reply was Angela, who wrote, "Oh my God, it's a scam, someone was impersonating him." When I asked why she added me, she said it must have been under a different name. I looked through the window and the car was still there. Someone was supposed to do something to me, but I didn't know what, who, and why. I couldn't contact the real Joe because there seemed to be no public social media profiles. I kept the door locked and didn't respond to further messages. I turned off the light in the living room and peeked through the blinds, seeing 2 people standing next to the car, both on their phones and looking around. One was talking on the phone, and the other was sending a message. I couldn't see what they looked like because it was dark and I didn't want them to think I was watching. The guy messaged me again, "Are you coming out?" "So," I replied shortly, "I'm sorry, I can't help you." He reacted aggressively. "You're putting yourself in danger." I said, "I'm not coming out. Just leave." Then he started sending me a bunch of explosive and vulgar things, becoming angrier with each text. Meanwhile, I looked through the blinds and outside they were getting angrier. I watched them until they finally left in the car. I blocked the number, took down the ad, and for a while, I just sat there trying to understand what had happened. I didn't call the police because I didn't know what I would tell them, and they hadn't done anything illegal. But either way, I never want to deal with the person pretending to be Joe and those people outside my apartment ever again. Never. again.